Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I request you all to please take your seats. Honorable Minister is here. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, Honorable Minister of State, Independent Charge, Ministry of Science and Technology and Ministry of Earth Sciences, Minister of State PMO, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Department of Atomic Energy and Department of Space. Also on the stage, we have Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha ji, Secretary, Ministry of Ayush and recipient of Padma Shri in 2015. Also joining us on the stage is Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, Secretary DBT, DG BRIC and Chairman BIRAC. We extend a warm welcome to our esteemed dignitaries, sir. Welcome, sir. To welcome our dignitaries, I humbly request Shri Vaidya Kotecha ji to welcome Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, with a memento. I now request Dr. Rajesh Gokhale to kindly welcome Vaidya Kotecha ji with a memento. Now I request Dr. Jyoti Logani, Scientist F, Department of Biotechnology, to welcome Dr. Gokhale, Secretary, Department of Biotechnology. I now invite Dr. Dhananjay Kumar Tiwari, Scientist G and Advisor, Department of Biotechnology, to deliver the welcome address.
A very good afternoon to all of you. It's my immense pleasure to warmly welcome our Honorable Minister, Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, and Honorable Minister for Ayush, Sri Pratap Rao Yadav ji, who is going to join us very shortly. I also extend my warm welcome to Secretary's Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Rajesh Gokhale, and Secretary Ministry of Ayush, Sri Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha ji, and all distinguished guests and participants present here. If there is one pathogen that has challenged humanities across centuries and civilizations, then this is tuberculosis. There was time when we knew nothing about cells, microbes, or we had very little knowledge about that. TB existed. Today, we entered in an era defined by convergence of artificial intelligence and biotechnology. We are able to solve some of the complex biological challenges as never before. Still, tuberculosis continues to persist. This reminds us and the enduring resilience of this pathogen. And it is often said that complex challenges requires collective wisdom. So today's gathering is a reflection of that spirit in action. The Department of Biotechnology, representing cutting-edge biotechnology, and Ministry of Ayush, represent very rich traditional knowledge, have come together to fight tuberculosis. And the presence of our ministers is again very inspiring to build a confidence in us that we are well positioned to fight this disease. We often say that being himself a medical doctor, Department of Biotechnology particularly privileged to benefit our ministers' natural attention to this domain. And sir, with your continued guidance, we have been able to shape very effectively, very strong programs in the areas of medical biotechnology and healthcare. Under your guidance, we were able to develop and launch India's first indigenously developed antibiotic, azithromycin. And this is a remarkable step towards addressing antimicrobial resistance and public health. In this journey to fight tuberculosis, Department of Biotechnology has been playing very important role. Through its various schemes and programs, DBT fostered very strong national and international collaboration in addressing tuberculosis across pathogen relationship, host pathogen relationship, developing vaccines, diagnostics, and drug development. And the start of the initiative of genomic surveillance is again emphasizes the priority of DBT to data-driven and precision public health care. Building on this, Department of Biotechnology and Ministry of Ayush entered into a formal collaboration to strengthen this convergence. Ministry of Ayush represents huge, rich traditional knowledge and offers pathways how to improve patient outcome, treatment tolerance, and also improving and enhancing the treatments. So it is in this spirit of this collaboration that today's event is very, very important. I again warmly welcome our ministers and look forward for very engaging interactions and commitment to make India a TB-free nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Tiwari, for that warm welcome. Now I invite Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, Secretary DBT, to share his opening remarks.
Namaskar and a very good afternoon to all of you. Respected Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, Honorable Minister of State for Science and Technology, will be soon joined by respected Honorable Minister of State for Independent Charge of Ministry of Ayush, Sri Pratap Rao Jadhav Ji, my colleague from Ministry of Ayush, Secretary Sri Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha Ji, esteemed delegates and distinguished guests, and my dear colleagues from DBT, BIRAC and various institutions, THSTI and other institutions, also from CCRS and other institutions, part of our joint committees here actually. I think TB has been a subject matter of of discoveries, of innovations, of variety of ideas that has emerged out of this over the years. In fact, the BCG vaccination by itself has been one of the landmark vaccination that was identified and discovered, as many of you would realize actually. And I think this has been a very fertile ground for doing large number of interesting trials and analysis and study patterns. I would just recollect, Dhananjay has already talked about some of these things, but I will recollect the pivotal role that DBT has played in advancing TB research and innovation over the years. I think, frankly, the TrueNat, which is one of now the landmark diagnostic that is used for various discoveries, was first identified by Department of Biotechnology and supported by the Department of Biotechnology actually in the endeavors. And of course, the journey has been long, so several other people have kind of developed this, and this is one of the key perspective of diagnostic markers that we use. At the same time, various TB disease biology programs, drug discovery, vaccine development, and in more recent, the genomic surveillance part that has been developed actually as part of an activity. To include this, department has also supported a report cohort clinical study, which is a discovery cohort where large number of subjects have been included. In fact, more than 4,500 new enrollment of subjects has happened since 2013, and more than household contacts, 5,000 household contacts has been collected data. I think that is quite exemplary because this was done as a part of international partnership as Indo-US VAP program, Vaccine Action Program. I think since then this has become a model of how to do the clinical cohort research studies and analysis. In fact, the program that we are talking about between Ayush and Department of Biotechnology is going to use this as one of the resource for carrying forward the activities of it. Various interesting activities have also come out of it. For example, nutrition supplementation and assessment in tuberculosis was carried out through this report cohort studies. The evidence-based extrapulmonary TB treatment is going on actually. We have about 14 drugs that are approved for TB treatments. However, for different tissues, you require different kind of treatments, and there is no evidence as of now of which one to prioritize, and that's what is being done by Department of Biotechnology. And at the same time, the data-driven research to eradicate TB, the program, what we call DARE to ERAD, has been ongoing, and it provides us an opportunity to carry out this activity. About this program, as with Secretary from Rajesh, as we started discussing about where we can really consolidate and make a wider impact, I think we identified that TB-mediated cachexia is quite a widespread problem actually. While you are able to get rid of tuberculosis, the cachectic response of the human body continues even after that. What that means is that your protein content doesn't come back. Your water capacity increases and your muscles don't function in the same way that it's supposed to work right now actually. And therefore this TB cachectic, we thought that we should build a program of an integrative medicine in the form of how to be able to ensure that new innovations come through from an integrative medicine point of view. And I think that's where this is one of the challenge in TB treatment. You have a long-term treatment, associated toxicity, immune suppression, as well as long-term pulmonary impairment that happens. And so the quality of life of the patient is compromised even after he has got rid of the treatment actually. And that's where this program is becoming very, very significant. It encompasses the modern medicine as well as the traditional Ayurveda knowledge, integrative approaches, and what we really need to do is to do an evidence-based science. Patient-centric and holistic healthcare is the focus of this program. And I personally think that this is an amazing step ahead because for the first time we are doing this kind of a trial where an integrative program has been set up, and it's also approved by the TB division to be able to implement, and I'm thankful for the TB division also to work together with us to be able to catalyze these kind of activities. I think just want to end by saying that on the occasion of World TB Day, we reiterate our unflinching support for the government's India's commitment to innovative, integrative and evidence-based approaches for accelerating progress towards the TB elimination in India and in the world. And I'm sure India is going to play a very, very important role, as always has been done before, to eradicate TB from our country. And I thank you all of you for joining here today, and I congratulate all the PIs and project people who are involved in preparing this document, I think with more energy and vigor, I'm sure you will be able to transform this complete behavioral, medicinal, behavioral, as well as all the other issues associated with this kind of activity through an integrative science approach. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, sir, for your elaborate and insightful remarks. So, Honorable Minister of State, Independent Charge for Ministry of Ayush, Shri Pratap Rao Jadhav ji has arrived at the venue. So, we'll be waiting a few minutes for him to arrive at this place. So while we wait, I would like to tell you why March 24th is commemorated as the World TB Day. So on this date, that is March 24th, 1882, Dr. Robert Koch announced the discovery of Mycobacterium tuberculosis, the causative agent of TB. And for his work on TB, he also won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1905. So to mark the anniversary of this momentous discovery, which has set into motion the search for scientific ways to manage TB, we celebrate World TB Day. So TB has been known by several names throughout history. It has been called the White Plague and more commonly known as consumption, which alludes to the fact which Dr. Gokhale just said right now, to the phenomenon of cachexia. In Hindi, accordingly, it is called Kshay Rog, though more colloquially it is simply known as TB. So TB is a very recognizable term to the masses, and for this reason, sometimes when doctors do not want the patients to immediately know their concerns that they may have TB, they use the term Koch's disease, which is more familiar to medical professionals.
Pulmonary Cox. Pulmonary Cox.
Pulmonary Koch's. Thank you, sir.
Because you have extra pulmonary also.
Extrapulmonary also. So while TB is mostly associated with the lungs and called pulmonary TB, it can also affect the brain, kidneys, spines, and many other parts of the body, and accordingly that is called extrapulmonary TB. So while the treatment is the same, is similar for pulmonary and extrapulmonary, the challenge is in the diagnosis. So extrapulmonary TB is a lot more challenging to diagnose, as it mimics the symptoms of many other diseases. It's also interesting to note that 90 to 95% of the people infected with TB do not show symptoms. And this is called latent TB, in which the pathogen lies dormant, controlled by our immune system. When these patients go weak, then the active contagious disease develops, and that requires immediate treatment. And even in latent cases, treatment is provided so that it does not proceed to the active
Sometimes
stage.
it can get healed on its own also. Without producing any symptoms, it can get healed on its own. So when you do an incidental X-ray sometime later in life, you might find a scar on the lung. It might have occurred and healed without symptoms.
So that's
Depending upon your immunity status.
very interesting to know, sir. So even in ancient times, it was recognized that a rich diet, change of climate, and rest are beneficial in remission of the disease. But there was no available cure. So as Honorable Minister said, if your body was able to cure it on its own, you were lucky. Otherwise, the remission would last a few years and then you would again develop the active disease. But now with the antibiotic era, so ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Shri Pratap Rao Jadhav ji, Honorable Minister of State, Independent Charge of Ministry of Ayush and Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Now I would like to request Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, Secretary DBT, to welcome Honorable Minister of State Independent Charge, Ministry of Ayush, Shri Pratap Rao Jadhav ji, with a small memento. To mark this auspicious occasion of today's program, I request the honorable ministers and dignitaries on stage to kindly proceed for the ceremonial lamp lighting. I also request Dr. Dhananjay Tiwari, Advisor DBT, to please join in the lamp lighting ceremony. May this light guide us on the path of knowledge, innovation, collaboration, and holistic healthcare. Now I would like to invite Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha ji, Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, to address the gathering, please.
Honorable Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Honorable Minister of State, Independent Charge, Minister of Science and Technology, Earth Sciences, and Minister of State at PMO. Dr. Sri Honorable Pratap Rao Jadhav ji, Honorable Minister of State, Independent Charge of Minister of Ayush and MOS at Health. Dr. Rajesh Gokhale ji, Secretary, DBT, good friend of mine, and Dr. Debashish Mohanty, the advisor of DBT, Dr. Dhananjay Tiwari, my colleagues in Ministry of Ayush, DDG, advisor, Director, Old Institute of Ayurveda, DGCCRS, and distinguished guests, scientists, representatives of both the departments, media, and all participants who have joined today. My namaste to all. It's a privilege to address this August gathering on the occasion of World TB Day, observed on 24th March, and to mark the announcement of the DBT Ayush collaboration in an initiative on TB-associated cachexia, an effort that represents both a significant scientific opportunity and a national responsibility as well. Friends, Ayush systems have long supported holistic healthcare across prevention, treatment, and recovery. While well established in non-communicable diseases, growing evidences highlight their role in communicable diseases, particularly in immune support, nutrition, and quality of life, clearly demonstrated during the COVID-19 pandemic. During COVID-19, Ministry of Ayush collaborated with Department of Biotechnology under the Ayush DBT network to undertake preclinical pharmacokinetic and clinical studies on key interventions. Research at THSTI, the director is here, evaluated the antiviral and immunomodulatory potential of formulations such as Ayush 64 and botanicals like Ashwagandha and Guduchi, including intranasal application formulation where Anu oil showed promising results. In total, 13 Ayush studies were conducted, resulting in around 10 publications. Based on these, Ayush 64 was also repurposed for COVID-19 and validated through multi-level studies, including DBT studies, showing reduced viral load, faster recovery, shorter hospital stay, and good safety, demonstrating effective translation of research into public health use. Under the vision leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji, and the guidance of our Honorable Minister, Sri Pratapara Jadhav ji, Ayush systems are receiving focused institutional support and strategic direction. Tuberculosis continues to pose a significant challenge. While effective antimicrobial therapies are available, the disease is often accompanied by severe metabolic and nutritional consequences. TB-associated cachexia remains under-recognized, yet it has a critical impact on treatment outcomes and recovery. The present initiative seeks to address this gap through a systematic, evidence-based approach. Under the MOU between the Ministry of Ayush and Department of Biotechnology, this initiative brings together basic research by prime institutes and a CCRS-led multi-center clinical trial to study a TB-associated cachexia and evaluate Ayurveda as an adjunct therapy. It represents a strong translation research platform linking scientific discovery with clinical validation. A coordinated approach with the Central TB Division has enabled TB elimination efforts through integration of Ayush services, capacity building and awareness. Initiatives like nationwide training, a yoga protocol for TB, and participation in the 100-day TB elimination campaign have strengthened Ayush's role in TB care. These initiatives opens new avenues to study the impact of Ayush on metabolism, immunity, and recovery in infectious diseases. I would like to highlight that the Central Ethics Committee of CCRS has successfully undergone international evaluation by SIDCR under FER CAP in March, becoming the first Ayush institution to achieve this milestone. My compliments to CCRS on this. At the end, I would like to sincerely acknowledge and appreciate the contributions of Department of Biotechnology, CCRS, and all participating institutions for the study in making these important initiatives possible. Guided by the principle that science must translate into meaningful patient outcomes, we look forward to results that will improve recovery and advance understanding of TB-associated cachexia. Dhanyavad. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable perspective and highlighting the significance of collaboration. We now move to the overview of the collaborative clinical study that aims to scientifically evaluate how Ayurveda can complement standard TB therapy, enhancing patient well-being and recovery. So with this, I invite Professor Vaidya Rabi Narayanacharya, Director General, CCRAS, to give the overview.
Namaste, most respected Honorable Minister of State, Science and Technology, most respected Honorable Minister of Ayush and Secretary DBT and Secretary Ayush, and all the learned participants. I am just here to highlight about the future study which we have planned and are supposed to execute. Efficacy, safety and tolerability of Ayurveda regimen as an adjunct to anti-tuberculosis treatment and macronutrient supplementations on body weight, nutritional outcomes, and quality of life in adults with newly diagnosed drug-sensitive NAT-positive pulmonary tuberculosis, an open-label, randomized, controlled, and parallel arm clinical study. Next, please. The journey started in May 22nd, 25th May 2022, when there was a MOU between Ministry of Ayush and DBT to work collaboratively.
And the objective of the MOU was to promote and develop a cooperation between Ministry of Ayush and DBT and have a platform for research between Ministry of Ayush and DBT. We have a lot of series of meetings, next please, under the leadership of, I can say, both the Rajesh Minister, DBT Secretary and our Secretary. They have continuously monitored and they have 2 meetings under their leaderships and Joint Secretary level leaderships, and every week our Secretary used to take report from me what is the development of these collaborative projects. Though it took a long time, but every stakeholders have given their best. There are a lot of bottlenecks what we all are saw duty under their leaderships. Then signing of the MOU, then brainstorming sessions to shortlist the priority areas for the collaborative research project, then action plan, then finalization of study protocol, and currently we are here to initiate the study. Next please. Objective of the study is change in body weight BMI, improvement in disease specific outcomes, quality of life, nutritional outcomes, and acceptability and adherence tolerability. Next please. The study will have an active control arm where ATT regimen and macronutrients will be provided. The interventions period will be 180 days, and the intervention arms will have Ayurveda intervention plus ATT regimen and macronutrients. The sample size will be 1,250 and the duration of the study will be 30 months. Next please. This study will be carried out in 8 sites across the India, and the main site, the 8 sites will be AIMS New Delhi, AIMS Nagpur, Jeepmar Puducherry, and Shillong, Northeast Institute Shillong, AIMS Jodhpur, AIMS Patna, AIMS Guwahati, and Mahavir Hospital, Hyderabad. And this will be coordinated by TISTI and NII and CCRS. Next please. The unique aspects of these initiatives that it's a first of kind national research programs integrating molecular and immunological discovery, research with large scale clinical investigations to comprehensively address tuberculosis associated cachexia. Strategic collaborations between Ayush and Department of Biotechnology, bringing together premium biomedical research institutions and leading medical centers across India. Rigorous multi-center clinical evaluations of an Ayurvedic regimen as an adjunct to ATT regimen aimed at improving nutritional recovery, functional status, and quality of life among tuberculosis patients. A translational research platform that connects fundamental biological insights with clinical outcomes, robust scientific evidence for integrating approaches in TB care. Strengthening India's national research response to tuberculosis by addressing the under-recognized challenges of tuberculosis associated with cachexia with potential to improve treatment outcomes and patient recovery. Next. And the intended therapeutic actions, as we all know, in Ayurveda, Agni is considered as the most important factor in many disease conditions. And this disease condition, tuberculosis, being known as the Rajajakma, the king of all diseases, is also quite, Agni gives a pivot role in Ayurveda. That's here the study is mainly to improve the Agni and digestion and metabolism, beneficial in cough and respiratory diseases, Bringhana, that is nourishing, and Balya, that is strength promoting, address debility as a rasayana. Ayurveda has a whole concept of rasayana, which is improving to the strength, stamina, and recovery, supports overall nutritional restorations, the expected to improve body weight, nutritional status, physical strength, quality of life, its immunomodulatory and anti-inflammatory actions further support its role as a therapeutic adjunct to tuberculosis cachexia care. The expected outcome is to provide robust scientific evidence on how Ayurveda, when used alongside standard tuberculosis treatment, can improve nutrition, accelerate recovery, enhance quality of life, and do safely therapy contributing to patient-centered tuberculosis care. I thank all the stakeholders who are collective effort. We sincerely thank all the stakeholders for their guidance and valuable input throughout the conceptualizations, development, finalization, and sanctioning of this collaborative initiative. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful overview. Now, to highlight the complementary role being played by the BRIC platform, may I invite Dr. Debashish Mohanty, Director, BRIC and II, for his presentation.
Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Shri Jitendra Singh Ji, Honorable Minister of Ayush, Shri Pratap Raj Yadav Ji, and Dr. Gokhale, Secretary DVT, Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha Ji, Secretary Ayush. So I would just give an overview of the molecular aspects of the study, so which is about understanding molecular and immunological correlates of tuberculosis-induced cachexia and basic mechanisms of this adjunct Ayurvedic therapy. So this has come up with CCRAS, the Central Council Ayurvedic Research and Biotech Research Innovation Council, NII, and also the ministry institutes under Health Ministry like JIPMER. Dr. Sonali is already here, and also I like ISAR Pune and CCRAS. Next slide, please. Yeah, so cachexia, we won't, in the interest of time, I'll skip. So essentially, this is increased energy expenditure, reduced muscle mass or decreased energy output. This has associated immune dysfunction, metabolic dysfunction, malnourishment. And next slide, please. So when the cachexia and TB, it's a vicious cycle. So in TB, you have a cytokine activation issues, abnormal protein metabolism. In cachexia, has other things, and when both are together, this is a vicious cycle, and there are very few studies which have addressed this issue. But this recent study which has come up is if the failure to gain weight, 5% body weight within 2 months is a strongly associated with the mortality. So that is why to understand cachexia can help us in better designing better TB cure. Next slide, please. And this is, as was told by Dr. Acharya, so this is a study with a very significant number, 250 new tuberculosis patients will be put on a Ayurvedic regimen along with standard anti-tubercular therapy. And there will be a control arm which is no Ayurvedic treatment, and there is a smaller group just to her molecular studies which are TB patients with the drug, and this is the standard isoniazid, rifampicin, the parengenamide and ethambutol, and 4 months and 2 months, and there are healthy controls. Next slide, please. And these are the objectives, like how does the body composition change in TB cachexia, how the interorgan crosstalk, which is an important part, the cachexia interorgan crosstalk plays a very important role, and what are the molecular mechanisms of TB cachexia and how affect immune response, which is the more important component, that's why BRIC NII is involved, and how it affects energy metabolism, and how is Ayurvedic intervention in the molecular details we can find out how Ayurvedic intervention is helping, and the generation of models for TB cachexia for testing the effect of Ayurvedic intervention. Next slide, please. So this is some of the studies are the DEXA scan and MRI, which are the details for this one, and this is being done at JIPMER, and this thing, in the interest of time, I will not go into the detail. So next slide. So here there are some advanced molecular techniques, which is the mass spectrometry based protein characterization. This is MRM and SRM assay to determine these organokines which are determining the interorgan crosstalk during cachexia. They are being studied. And of course, the metabology, like metabolomics, will also be used, and single cell, like transcriptomics, which can characterize immune cells, which is an important component of the study. So with this, we would be able to get which are the cell types involved, how immune cell is playing a role, and which are the molecular players in this process. Next slide, please. So this is analyzing immune dysfunction. You will also have immune phenotyping using flow cytometry, and specific TB specific T cells will be characterized by ex vivo activation of T cells, and metabolic effects of the immune compartment will be Sears. It will be a metabolic chamber. With this study will be done. Next slide, please. Yeah, so these are the expected outcomes. Of course, establishing the efficacy of it is already known, but in terms of the Ayurvedic adjunct therapy, how it is helping. In addition to that, if we can characterize several organokines, they could be used for future drug targets, and antibodies for these organokines, it can be developed, they can be used for therapy. So these are the expected outcomes of the project. Next slide, please. So with this, I would stop.
Thank you, sir, for highlighting the the translational aspect of the study. Now we proceed to the exchange of the MOU between the implementing agencies, that is Translational Health Science and Technology Institute and Institute of Biotechnology Research Innovation Council and Central Council for Research in Ayurvedic Sciences. So this truly reflects a strong and valuable partnership. May I invite Dr. Karthikeyan and Executive Director THSTI.
Then you won't be. You won't be. Just we are standing tall enough. So that's fine. Good.
So thank you. So this truly marks a significant milestone in the collaborative effort. So Dr. Karthikeyan and Dr. Ravi Narayan, please join us on the dais. We are moving ahead with the formal announcement. Please be. So we are arriving at the highlight of the today's program, that is the formal announcement of the collaborative study. I also request Dr. Dhananjay to join us on the dais. So I request our Honorable Ministers, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji and Shri Pratap Rao Jadhav Ji, to formally announce the DBT and Ministry of Ayush collaborative effort. So this multicentric clinical study will evaluate the efficacy, safety and tolerability of Ayurveda-based regimen, and it is designed to generate high-quality evidence.
It's my honor to request Shri Pratap Rao Jadhav Ji, Honorable Minister for Ayush, to kindly address the gathering.
आज के इस कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित राज्य मंत्री स्वतंत्र प्रभार विज्ञान एवं प्रौद्योगिकी मंत्रालय आदरणीय डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी, सचिव आयुष मंत्रालय वैद्य राजेश कोटेचा जी, सचिव जैव प्रौद्योगिकी विभाग तथा डीजी बीआरआईसी डॉक्टर राजेश एस गोखले जी, कार्यकारी निदेशक बीआरआईसी टीएचएसटीआई प्रोफेसर जी कार्तिकेयन जी, महानिदेशक सीसीआरएस वैद्य रवि नारायण आचार्य जी, उपस्थित सभी सम्माननीय वैज्ञानिकगण, दोनों मंत्रालयों एवं उनकी संस्थाओं के अधिकारी कर्मचारीगण, मीडिया के प्रतिनिधियों तथा सम्मानित देवियों और सज्जनों, आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। आज हम वर्ल्ड ट्यूबरकुलोसिस डे के इस अवसर पर एक अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण पहल की शुरुआत के लिए एकत्र हुए हैं। यह केवल एक कार्यक्रम नहीं बल्कि एक राष्ट्रीय संकल्प का प्रतीक है, एक ऐसे भारत का निर्माण जहां टीबी का पूरी तरह उन्मूलन हो। साथियों, हमारे आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में भारत से टीबी उन्मूलन का लक्ष्य हमने निर्धारित किया है, जो वैश्विक लक्ष्य से भी आगे है। वर्ल्ड हेल्थ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की एंड टीबी स्ट्रेटेजी के अनुरूप भारत तेज गति से इस दिशा में आगे बढ़ रहा है। नेशनल ट्यूबरकुलोसिस एलिमिनेशन प्रोग्राम में के अंतर्गत देश भर में निशुल्क जांच एवं उपचार, आधुनिक निदान तकनीकों का उपयोग तथा निक्षय पोषण योजना के माध्यम से पोषण सहायता प्रदान की जा रही है। इसी कार्यक्रम में आज प्रारंभ किया जा रहा है यह अध्ययन एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है जिसमें आयुर्वेद औषधियों को मानक एंटी ट्यूबरकुलर उपचार के साथ सहायक रूप में प्रदान किया जाएगा। यह अध्ययन विशेष रूप से टीबी, कैक्सेक्सिया अर्थात रोग से संबंधित कमजोरी और वजन में कमी पर केंद्रित है ताकि रोगों के पोषण स्तर में सुधार हो, वजन बढ़े और उनकी रिकवरी की प्रक्रिया को गति मिल सके। यह पहल इस दिशा में महत्वपूर्ण साक्ष्य प्रदान करने का प्रयास करेगी। आयुर्वेद जब आधुनिक उपचार के साथ समन्वित रूप में उपयोग किया जाता है तो किस प्रकार सुरक्षित रूप से पोषण में सुधार, शीघ्र स्वास्थ्य लाभ और जीवन की गुणवत्ता को बेहतर बना सकता है। साथियों, हमें यह समझना होगा कि टीबी का उपचार केवल संक्रमण को समाप्त करना नहीं है, बल्कि मरीज को पूर्णतः स्वस्थ बनाना है। इसी सोच के साथ हम एक नए दृष्टिकोण की ओर आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, जहां आयुर्वेद एवं अन्य आयुष पद्धतियां केवल उपचार में सहायक नहीं, बल्कि मरीज की रिकवरी, पोषण और जीवन की गुणवत्ता में सुधारने में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाती है। जैसा कि हम जानते हैं, आज पूरी दुनिया में प्राकृतिक, सुरक्षित और पूरे शरीर का ध्यान रखने वाली स्वास्थ्य पद्धतियां की मांग तेजी से बढ़ रही है और आयुर्वेद इस जरूरत को पूरा करने की क्षमता रखता है। ऐसे समय में आयुर्वेद और अन्य आयुष प्रणालियों में शोध का महत्व और भी बढ़ गया है। ऐसे में यह आवश्यक है कि हम अपने पारंपरिक ज्ञान को आधुनिक वैज्ञानिक तरीकों से प्रमाणित करें ताकि विश्वसनीयता और वैश्विक स्वीकार्यता और मजबूत हो सके। भारत सरकार ने भी इस दिशा में महत्वपूर्ण कदम उठाए हैं। हाल के बजट में आयुर्वेद शिक्षा और शोध इकोसिस्टम को सुदृढ़ करने पर विशेष जोर दिया गया है। इसके अंतर्गत देश में 3 नए अखिल भारतीय आयुर्वेद संस्थान स्थापित करने और WHO ग्लोबल ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन सेंटर को और सशक्त एवं उन्नत बनाने की घोषणा की गई है। ये प्रयास निश्चित ही बेहतर शोध, आधुनिक सुविधाओं के विकास और संस्थानों को मजबूत बनाने में मदद करेंगे। आज वर्ल्ड ट्यूबरकुलोसिस डे के इस महत्वपूर्ण अवसर पर आयुष मंत्रालय और डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के साझा प्रयास से आरंभ किया जा रहा है। यह अध्ययन नीति स्तर पर एक स्पष्ट और मजबूत संदेश देता है कि आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में भारत केवल टीबी के इलाज तक सीमित नहीं है, बल्कि समग्र देखभाल के लिए पूरी तरह प्रतिबद्ध है। सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात है कि यह पहल मरीज के प्रति हमारी संवेदनशीलता और प्रतिबद्धता को दर्शाती है, क्योंकि हर टीबी मरीज के पीछे केवल एक संख्या नहीं, बल्कि एक इंसान होता है। कोई मजदूर, कोई माँ, कोई युवा छात्र जिसका जीवन इस बीमारी से प्रभावित हुआ हो। हमारी जिम्मेदारी केवल संक्रमण को ठीक करने तक सीमित नहीं है, बल्कि तब तक है जब तक उस व्यक्ति का स्वास्थ्य और सम्मान पूरी तरह से वापस न आ जाए। आयुष की मूल अवधारणा है रोकथाम, संतुलन और समग्र स्वास्थ्य। आज देश में योग 365 अभियान के माध्यम से हम हर नागरिक को योग और स्वस्थ जीवन शैली अपनाने के लिए प्रेरित कर रहे हैं। आप सभी से मेरा अनुरोध है कि इस अभियान में जुड़े और इस वर्ष 21 जून को अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस में बढ़ चढ़कर हिस्सा लें। साथियों, आज की यह पहल केवल एक शोध कार्यक्रम नहीं है, बल्कि भारत के स्वास्थ्य क्षेत्र की एक नई सोच और नई दिशा का प्रतीक है। एक ऐसा मॉडल जहां आधुनिक चिकित्सा और हमारी पारंपरिक ज्ञान प्रणाली एक साथ मिलकर काम करती है। मैं अंत में यही कहना चाहूंगा कि टीबी का वास्तविक उन्मूलन केवल आंकड़ों में कमी से नहीं होगा, बल्कि तब होगा जब हर मरीज पूरी तरह स्वस्थ, सशक्त और सम्मान के साथ अपना जीवन जी सके। मैं डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी, CCRS, आयुष मंत्रालय तथा सभी सहयोगी संस्थानों को इस महत्वपूर्ण पहल के लिए हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं। आइए हम सब मिलकर यह संकल्प लें कि हम टीबी को जड़ से समाप्त करेंगे और एक स्वस्थ, सशक्त और आत्मनिर्भर भारत का निर्माण करेंगे। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत, जय आयुष।
माननीय मंत्री जी, आपके प्रेरणादायक शब्दों के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। Your inspiring words contribute greatly to our enthusiasm. Now I request Honorable Minister, Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, to kindly address the gathering, please.
Honorable Minister for Ayush, आदरणीय श्री प्रताप राव यादव जी, हमारे वरिष्ठ साथी, मंत्री परिषद के और लोकप्रिय नेता, सचिव आयुष वैद्य कोटेचा जी, सचिव बायोटेक्नोलॉजी डॉक्टर राजेश गोखले, senior members of the fraternity, faculty. At the outset, I have to compliment you and congratulate you. I think I was telling Rajesh, this must be the first ever study of its kind. Not only in India and the world, because the rest of the world is hardly familiar with the Ayush. So you have made the best use of that advantage. तो अपनी तरह का सर्वप्रथम इस प्रकार का प्रयोग और सर्वप्रथम पहल, तो फर्स्ट एवर collaborative study between biotechnology and Ayush. And this also reflects the priority approach of the Modi government. Whole of science, वो भी हो गया, बायोटेक्नोलॉजी प्लस आयुष, होल ऑफ गवर्नमेंट भी हो गया, दोनों मंत्रालय यहाँ बैठ गए, और होल ऑफ नेशन हो गया। आपने 1200 सब्जेक्ट्स, because I was complimenting Kotecha ji for a beautiful design of the study. So 1200 subjects, I think, 1250, and pan-India centers. So it makes it whole of nation. So it's whole of science, whole of government, whole of nation. And ये इसलिए संभव हुआ कि सन 2014 में सरकार बनने के तुरंत बाद प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने आयुष का एक अलग से मंत्रालय बनाया। अगर ऐसा ना होता तो आज हम यहाँ एकत्रित भी ना होते और ये मंच भी ना सजा होता, क्योंकि ना आयुष के मंत्री थे, ना आयुष के सचिव थे। तो इस तरह का जो कोलैबोरेटिव एफर्ट होल ऑफ गवर्नमेंट की अप्रोच को लेकर के सर्वप्रथम पहले दिन से ही मोदी जी ने आह्वान किया था, उसका भी एक बेहतरीन नमूना इस समय आपके सामने प्रस्तुत है। Now, as far as the medical aspect of this is concerned, to pick up what Rajesh was saying earlier, many of us belong to that generation of tuberculosis who have seen the transition. The anti-tubercular drugs were hardly available or just happening. So the treatment approach was sanatorium approach. And I remember even I had the advantage of doing my internship in one of the best sanatoria in the world, the Asia's best one, called Tamram Sanatorium, which is on the suburbs of Chennai, close to the Madras airport. तो खुली बागीचे होते थे वहाँ पे, खुली जगह, और अप्रोच ये है कि अगर अटेंडेंट आता था तो वो हाथ नहीं लगाता था, उसके करीब नहीं जाता था पेशेंट के, साथ में दूर चारपाई होती थी, वहां वो छोड़ जाता था घर का सामान, बाद में वो चला जाता, उसको उठाया जाता था. सो इट वॉज सच ए condemned disorder. And since there was no treatment, so everybody was scared of getting infected. And it became such a, because it was not much known in the Europe. It was more of a tropical disease. In fact, for a long time at the All India Institute, till about 1990s, we used to get interns from UK for a 1 or 2 months posting. I think Dr. Karthike would be wearing me out. They would be posted in these wards: tuberculosis, leprosy, tropical disease. And you could spot them from a distance, white girls, boys, moving in flocks together. So they were, now I think that system is, that arrangement no longer exists. So इसलिए India was condemned to be a land of tuberculosis. And it became a part of our social parlance, also a social stigma. इस पर साहित्य लिखा जाने लगा, उपन्यास लिखे गए, कहानियां लिखी गई, फिल्में बनाई गई. If you had a film with a triangular love story, you wanted to get away with one character, उसको tuberculosis कर दो. पीछे 2 बज गए, then they live happily thereafter. बहुत सारे ऐसा उपन्यास, क्योंकि इसका कोई इलाज नहीं था. And as we grew up, we used to hear strange stories. Some of, legends getting this, because earlier part was more of British education, then moved over to American textbooks. I think John Keats was one of them. He was a medico actually. He was, I think, in 2nd or 3rd year or 4th year of his medicine when he died of tuberculosis. And the beautiful poetry that he writes, in one of his poems, he also explains hemoptysis, how suddenly he threw out blood and how scary was the sight. So this actually, ये शायद साहित्यकारों का नुकसान हो गया ट्यूबरक्लोसिस का इलाज निकलने से, लेकिन the transition has happened. So first generation came in early 1950s, streptomycin, isoniazid, thalidomide. Then we had that thalidomide tragedy famous. उसके बाद second generation आया, and thereon we went on, and फिर उसके बाद resistant tuberculosis. So it's been a very evolutionary journey in the history of medicine. And then finally, somewhere in 1980s, the non-communicable diseases took over. धीरे धीरे ये कम होने लगा. Somebody wrote in a lighter way in an article in the Journal of Association of Physicians of India that now India has entered into a phase of civilized diseases. You die of heart attack, you don't die of tuberculosis. तो लेकिन आफ्टर कोविड, और उसमें भी आयुष मंत्रालय का विशेष योगदान रहा है, we are beset with both communicable and non-communicable disease. And there also, what is not often talked about, even in the medicine meets, that tuberculosis and other such disorders have a huge bearing on communicable diseases also. Like, for example, type 2 diabetes mellitus and tuberculosis, I always used to tell my students, they share a reciprocal relationship. If you have tuberculosis, which is badly controlled, you are prone to disturb your subnormal glycemic levels and turn into an overt or uncontrolled diabetic. And similarly, if you are a poorly controlled, glycemically controlled diabetic, you are prone to have tuberculosis. तो कहने का तात्पर्य ये कि ये भी कहना दुरुस्त नहीं होगा कि कम्युनिकेबल खत्म हो गया और नॉन कम्युनिकेबल आ गई. ये दोनों को एग्जिस्ट रहना और एक दूसरे के साथ मिलजुल कर जीना भी सीख गए हैं, और इसलिए हमारी चुनौती चैलेंज और बढ़ गया. और टू दैट एक्सटेंट आई थिंक ये जो स्टडी है, this is going to be of special importance, and this is Modi's India, where we are working for the 2047 citizens, and India globally has 25% of the world's burden of tuberculosis. And the various aspects of the जिसमें early diagnosis आपने देखा, cachexia देखा, malnutrition, and then combining it with digital tools and AI, etc. We already have been working in the Department of Biotechnology. We have something called Report, the Regional Perspective on the Observational Research in Tuberculosis. And this will be an addition to our armamentarium. And we've already sequenced also about 32,000, I think, mycobacterium. 25,000. So ultimately, this collaboration will not only be confined to the Department of Biotechnology or and plus Ayush, this will also become a multidisciplinary collaboration, because what the findings that we get from it, the outcomes that we gather from here could also be supplemented with the outcomes that we get from the genomic studies. Finally, it will become a very wholesome package. And of course, the key points picked up in this treatment-related adverse effects and also the resistance, the undernutrition, immune suppression, long-term issues. So ultimately, the multidisciplinary will be the answer, but to that extent also we have made an initiation which is unique of its kind. So finally, I'll end up saying that tuberculosis is actually too serious a problem to be left to government alone, and also too serious to be left only to medical professionals. Because this requires a wider collaboration of the family members, collaboration of the society, which sometimes tends to undo all that good we have done by attaching avoidable stigmas, and the patients tend to camouflage the symptoms. Also collaboration of the NGOs, the social activists, and society as a whole. And therefore, the war against tuberculosis cannot be confined only to the gentleman and the gentle lady sitting in this room. This is going to be a collective war. And unless we realize that and proceed accordingly, it would be difficult to achieve the avowed objective or the target, the goal of TB Mukt Bharat. So simultaneously, on the World TB Day, I think we should also make conscious efforts for wider propagation of awareness about it. When we talk of cachexia, it's not only something that can be taken care of only through medication. There are also societal level, the family level means to take care of it, particularly the kind of nutrients that are lost and how do you make up for that. Because already you have a loss of appetite, so how do you manage that? So I think the engagement of the society, maybe next time when we observe a program like this, we would also have certain representatives of the NGOs and the social groups who are dedicated to the cause of tuberculosis. So thank you very much. I will not say happy Tuberculosis Day because nothing to be happy about it. But yes, we can reiterate our commitment to the cause of tuberculosis.
Thank you, sir, for your address, which is not just hugely enlightening, but also thoroughly enjoyable. Your words are always a great encouragement, sir, and they play no small part in keeping us going. To conclude this formal session, I invite Dr. Jyoti Malik Logani to deliver the vote of thanks, please.
So it's a matter of great honor and privilege for me to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion, marking the announcement of a collaborative program. At the outset, I want to thank Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of Science and Technology, and Shri Pratap Rao Jadhav Ji, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of Ayush, for their visionary and inspiring addresses. We strongly believe under their leadership, we'll continue to illuminate the path of integrative research. I extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, Secretary DBT, for his steadfast commitment to advancing scientific excellence, and also heartfelt thanks to Shri Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha Ji, Secretary Ministry of Ayush, for his invaluable guidance. My acknowledgement to all the leadership teams of the implementing partners, that is CCRAS, institutions of the Biotechnology Research Innovation Council, THSTI, NII, for their coordination. I also extend sincere appreciation to all the scientists, researchers, clinicians, collaborators, who particularly I would like to acknowledge Dr. Sonali from JIPMER, Dr. Anish, Dr. Nitya Wadhwa, Dr. Sophia, and Dr. Shruti, who have been instrumental in developing this study. I am also thankful to the organizing team of the BRIC THSTI for their meticulous planning and seamless support, and thanks to all the members of the media for their presence. Before we conclude, I would just like to invoke a timeless wisdom from Ayurveda. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve sattu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashchit dukbhag bhavet. So may all be happy, may all be free from illness, may all see what is auspicious and no one suffer. So with this words, we would like to reflect the spirit of today's initiative. Thank you everyone for participating. Thank you so much.
We invite all guests for lunch and networking at the foyer. Thank you for your presence and participation, and have a wonderful day.